Hello there, Watson here. I have 100% completed Final Fantasy XIII, so let's talk about it. So, Final Fantasy XIII came out way back in 2009. I got it on launch, I played it a lot. I never 100% completed it back then, so I've gone back and done it now. I have recorded a full Let's Play for the channel as well. That'll go up like January. Just because of how I've changed the system of putting Let's Plays up. I feel a better appreciation for Final Fantasy XIII than I did when I originally played it. Having gone back and replayed it again to complete it. But it's not changed its position within the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. It's kind of still the middle game. Combat wise, you've got the weird sort of kind of ATB system. It basically allows you to stack up attacks, and then you'll do like 5 or 6 attacks in a row, depending on what your ATB gauge is at the time. So as you progress through the game and you level up, gain abilities and stuff like that, you eventually gain extra ATB chunks, so you can do more commands, and basically you can have several commands all set up, and if you decide you want to attack 5 times, it will do 5 attacks in a row, and then you build the gauge up again, rather than it just being attack, 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 attack. Like, so that's like a different system to the rest of the Final Fantasy games. It kind of gives it a bit more of a tactical feel to it, so you can like do different attacks at once rather than having to go, right, I'm going to do this attack this turn and this attack this turn. You can go, I'm going to attack, I'm going to use fire, I'm going to, like, it'll gives you that sort of little bit more strategy to it. Music wise, the music's okay. Like, I can't really remember much of the music. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like the music's good, but it's kind of like background noise. Sunleth Waterscape, that music I kind of vibe with a lot when I was playing it. I think I bought it to be out and was like, yeah, like the vibe's good. But generally, like, music wise, it's kind of background noise. It's good. It's just not one of those where it's like, I felt that it was iconic enough to warrant any extra sort of, oh yeah, this is really good. Like, character wise, I feel a better connection with the characters than I had done previously. Playing through the game, you kind of get this feeling that each character in the story is all important, which is something that a lot of other Final Fantasy games don't manage to do. Even games like Final Fantasy IX or Final Fantasy VIII or whatever, like, there are certain characters within the story that are just kind of there. With 13, they all feel very important to the story. They all have their own motives, they all have their own character growth arcs, and replaying it and seeing that for a second time, or viewing it with fresh eyes, is kind of giving me a better appreciation of the game itself. And yeah, like, we're going to go into the achievements in a minute, but I can't really talk about all of the achievements. But for me, Final Fantasy XIII this time around has been a breath of fresh air with the Final Fantasy series. I think the main strength, the story's kind of there. It's not particularly brilliant. It's all, a lot of the story is played out through the characters rather than it being this is the plot, this is the story, this is what happens. It's more because of the way it's set up. Each of the different characters are the story, if that makes sense. It's very much a case of characters like Lightning will have a chapter and you'll kind of learn a bit more about Lightning, and then there's like the 13 days stuff before the event where it shows you like different days and different memories of like before the game starts, which is quite cool. But yeah, let's talk about the achievements. So, as I said with the achievements, I can't really talk about all of them, just because, as you can see from the unlocks, the majority of these I unlocked when I was trying to attempt to complete the game 14 years ago, which is scary. So, yeah, it was 2011 when I attempted to complete the game and get all the achievements and never managed to do it. But you can see there's various different achievements and stuff. 2010 is when I got the game. So I think it came out 2009 on the PS3 first, and then came out in 2010 on the Xbox. I think that's the story behind it, potentially. Or maybe it came out in 2009 and I didn't get it straight away. Not entirely sure. But yeah, basically, it's been too long for me to be able to talk about most of these, so because I have no idea what half of those are. But the final 5 achievements were the ones that I needed to get the completion. It took forever to get to a point where I could unlock these achievements. I finished the game, I think it was 40-ish hours, 50-ish hours, and then like the entire save file ended up being over 120 hours worth of gameplay. There are obviously loading times and stuff within that, but yeah, these last 5 achievements are the ones that I unlocked. So we've got Adamant Will, which was defeating a long GUI in Pulse, so on Grand Pulse. Basically, there's a monster called an Adamantoise, which is like this huge monster. It's kind of like a big elephant that you can fight, which is like the strongest monster. After you do certain CF zones, they get an upgrade and become even stronger, which is, yeah. They have like 10 million-ish HP or something like that. But killing one of those gets you that achievement, which it's easy enough to do with certain things. I did the elixir way. If you use a summon on them, it immediately knocks the legs. If you knock the legs, they fall over and then are helpless for a little bit. You can basically get, I think it's like 4 elixirs in the game, which restore your TP, and then you can just keep summoning and keep wailing on it. I did that route, so that was that one. Exorcist triumphed over Undying Lower World Souls in 7 fierce battles. Within the Seath Stones, there are 7 particular battles that count towards that. Complete all the Seath Stones, there are 64 altogether. The last one being the hardest one. Wasn't the one that gave me the most difficulty. There was, I think, 63 gave me the most difficulty. But yeah, I think you've got to get 5-star rating for all of the missions, which that last one took a few attempts before I managed to get it, but otherwise they were fairly easy. Once you complete all the CF stones, you get a gold watch, which gives you more time to be able to get like a 5-star rating. So this is the one that takes the time, though. Treasure Hunter held every weapon and accessory. So there's a couple of accessories that if you miss them or you sell them or you break them down or whatever, you can't get them back again and you need to upgrade them. So you kind of have to know where all the weapons and items are within maps. So having a map of where all the items are is a good thing to have. And then the main thing with this is getting enough money together to be able to get every weapon and accessory, because you have to upgrade the weapons and accessories to different forms to be able to even get them. And the only way to get a lot of money, or any money in particular, is by getting drops off monsters, and stuff doesn't drop all the time. The monster that you end up farming for this are the admin toys, which I mentioned previously. They have a 1 in 4 chance of dropping a platinum ingot, which sells for 150,000 gil. And you need something like 20 million gil to be able to get everything. So yeah, it takes so long to even get this. With previous grinds for like the sphere grid in 10 and stuff like that, you kind of have a sense that you are always progressing. As long as you get spheres and stuff, you'd like always progressing. Whereas with this, because the platinum ingots aren't a guaranteed drop, you kind of have this idea that you aren't making any progress when you kill the admin toys, and that's kind of the most disheartening bit. And what takes so long is that you can literally go, I think the most I went was like 9 battles without an ingot, without anything dropping, which was crazy. To get 6 of the weapons as well, you need a trapezahedron, which has a 1% chance of dropping. I ended up with 4 in the first day of grinding, so I mean that was pretty good. But yeah, that's with the achievements. They're not difficult to complete. There are harder achievements in different Final Fantasy games, but this one definitely, the grind is unbearable at times. But yeah. So yeah, as I say, I have a greater appreciation now of Final Fantasy XIII than I did previously. I did put Final Fantasy XIII quite low on a list of all Final Fantasy games. I will eventually rank them all. But with Final Fantasy XIII complete, I have done the 100% completion in almost every single Final Fantasy game. Of the non-MMOs left on the Xbox, the only one that I need to complete is Final Fantasy XV, which you need the PC version to complete because Comrades isn't available on the Xbox anymore, which is the multiplayer add-on, so I will eventually get to that at some point. But yeah, Final Fantasy XIII, if you played it for the story, great, it's a good time. It's the characters are really well written, so you kind of have that to lean back on, and the combat system is a little bit more involved than what other Final Fantasy games are, and then also kind of easier at the same time. There's not really much to go on with like the combat. One thing I will say is that the sort of hard cap with the Crystarium is kind of annoying at first, because with other Final Fantasy games you can kind of out-level your opponents to be able to defeat them, and with 13 you kind of hit a wall and you need to use strategy instead, which is good and also not good at the same time, depending on how you play. But yeah, that is Final Fantasy XIII. If you did reach the end of this ramble, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next review.